Hello, sunshines. Welcome to BunniPhish Crafts. I'm your host, Heather, known as BunniPhish on all the internet places. If there's a bunnyfish, it's probably me. Hello. How are you? Today is the 13th of July. Yes, July 13th. It's a Sunday. I am not recording on my usual recording day because yesterday, I'm knitting and I had to see where I was. Yesterday we went to the beach and then it rained the rest of the day. And it's kind of overcast today, so I'm sorry about the weird shadow thing going on. Because if it's not overcast, then there's light coming in from two windows. You'll give me grace. I know you will. Hi, how are you? Let's talk about some knitting. Let's do that. And then we'll talk about books. And then we'll talk about life stuff. Okay, sound good? Okay, so I finished. Last week I was talking about wanting to finish 2 pairs of socks. I did not. But I did finish socks. So, first up, I have my finished pencil socks. These are not a pattern. I just made them up, but it's really super simple. You cast on your number of stitches. I did 60, so it would be a multiple of 10. Knit 5 rounds. Provisionally cast on. Knit 5 rounds. Purl a round. Knit 5 rounds. Put your 2 stitches together from the cast on edge and the working edge, and then 10 rounds knit. Let's change to gray. A knit round, a purl round, 10 rounds of knit 1 through the back loop, purl 1, another garter ridge, and then 40 rounds of slip 1, knit 9 all the way around, and then heel flap, gusset, doing the slip stitches down the, you can't see that, down the top of the foot, and then a color work section for the changing to the wood on the pencil, and then 15 rounds of the horchata color right here, and then a toe in the black. This is all Knit Picks Stroll yarn in Lemon Drop for the yellow, Ash for the gray, and Dogwood Heather for the pink. I am so excited to have these finished for the first day of school. Totally gonna wear these with my book dress. I can't wait. Yes, I have my first day of school outfit already picked out. Of course I do. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have these done. I think I'm gonna have a new cast on next week because those are finished. I also finished a sock. So this is socks for my Aunt Leslie. The pink stripey is Felici sealed with a kiss. I was done with the heel turn and flap, which is in some speckled yarn. I don't know what it is. And I finished the foot and the toe on that. I thought I might have to do a contrast toe, but there was just enough of the stripe sequence to get me through the toe with not very much left. Did I may have already, oh no, see, there's see, not very much left of this pink color, so that's really nice. I haven't started the second one. I have the needle in the yarn. I have the stitch markers attached to the yarn. I'm thinking that I might want to ball it up or cake it up just so that it doesn't like fall apart, because I think when I'm done with the socks, I'll only have like I think I'll have 2 pattern repeats of this pink left. So but it'll be crushed. It'll be, what am I saying? Deflated? That's not the right word. You know what I'm trying to say though, right? So cool. So that's 2 socks finished this week. This is kind of a 3rd sock finished. I was in the toe last week. Look how comically small this sock is though. It's for my littlest kiddo, and I finished it and I was like, even counting stripes, I think this is too small. So I had her try it on, and it is too small. Like, this is comically too small. So for my aunt's sock, there are, see, these stripes do they kind of match up? Where does this start? It starts here. Like, based on my measurement of my child's foot, that should be right stripe wise, but from back of heel wise, it's not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rip out this toe, and I'm going to add, I think, 10 rounds in the gray. I think that'll be a good number. If the socks are a tiny bit big, it'll be okay, versus if they're too small. Because my littlest is only 14, her foot could possibly grow. It could be done growing, who knows, but I'd rather have a little bit extra room in the sock. I did cast on the 2nd sock, and I wound up this, which is the candy ribbon colorway from Knit Picks Felici. I wound this up so that I could see how many pattern repeats I have, and I have 3. Well, this sock has 2, so this sock is going to have 2, so I'm just going to use the gray to finish off this sock. And I'm glad I used it in the heel. And then I will have a repeat to put into one of my blankets, and I'm pretty excited about it. So here I am in the leg in the first section, just working away. I think I'm going to get this through the first section, which is garter ridges. See, garter ridge and then stockinette, or, well, I guess starting at the top, it's 2 colors are ribbed, and then garter stitch in a color, stockinette in a color, garter stitch, stockinette, and then the heel. I think if I get this to the end of the garter ridge, that'll be a good place to take it to work tomorrow. Let's discuss another sock in progress. This is the sock for my oldest kiddo. Da-da-da-da. It's gonna be some thigh highs. I think, so this is the 2nd sock. I think I'm like 3 rounds shy of being caught up to the first sock, which I didn't work on this week, so I'm not going to show you. But that's exciting. I kind of wanted to get them in the same place because I was working the first sock and I pulled out my journal to see what the decreases were going to look on the next stripe, and I realized that I had skipped a stripe and put decreases in the wrong space. It's fine, I'm not that worried about it, but I wanted to make sure that I caught up and did it in the wrong spot on the 2nd sock also, so they'd be the same. And I think I'm just going to work them in tandem going forward, just so that if I make a mistake, it's in the same space. So, feeling pretty good about where this sock is. I did my 2 stripes this week. Good job me, even though summer school happened. So my knitting time was different than it has been the past few weeks. I'm proud of that. The yarn that I'm using for this is Knit Picks Stroll Black and Cattails yarn Gleeman's Cloak. I don't remember the base for the Cattails yarn, but it's got sparklies in it. And it's working up nicely, but it's like it takes a little while because it's magic loop, which is not my favorite. My preferred, and what I did all of the finished socks on, is a 9-inch circular. I use a US size 0 most of the time, but for these socks it's a US size 1 until I get down to the calf. So like this is the thigh area. I think I'm at the knee area right now, so a few more stripes and then I'll be going on to 9-inch circulars size 0. but this is the one. And, you know, I know it's not the most exciting thing ever. I find that this project is so boring, so I'm sorry. But this is a pair of socks, or will be someday, a pair of socks for my sister's boyfriend. It's charcoal Croy socks, Gentry gray. It's just 10 rounds of cuff, 72 stitches, 10 rounds of leg, a heel flap, a heel turn. It's going to be stockinette down the foot. Very mindless, very not exciting. The color is not exciting, although yesterday we went to the beach, I was saying, and he mentioned something about maybe needing another pair of socks, and I was like, I started your Christmas socks and they're boring. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, it's just boring knitting plain black socks. He was like, you could put a pattern on it. I don't want to put a pattern on it. I did pattern socks for him last year, and it was more hassle than it was worth on the black yarn. And he was like, well, I mean, they don't have to be black. They're just going to turn black when I wear them. He works in a factory. And he's like, I don't care if I knit you fun colored socks and then they turn black. That doesn't bother me. I would much rather knit fun colored socks, interesting colored socks, and have them turn black than knit black socks and not enjoy the process, right? Obviously, I don't have a problem using black yarn. Black yarn is fine. I'm using them on these thigh highs right here. It's fine. I've used them in color work, like black in color work. I do stripes with black. I don't have a problem knitting with black yarn, but all black pairs of socks, not really my jam. I don't really want to do it. But that's exciting because next year I know that I can just, you know, get a fun colorway of Felici and make him some Felici socks instead. So that's something to look forward to. But right now, I have these. And the only reason they got as much work done on them as they did is because they were temperature projects. And I think I put on work on them since last week. I tried to be really good last week about moving my progress keepers. So this says that I was here. It says I was in the middle of the heel. So I think I finished the heel this week. What I should do probably is pick up this gusset and start working some gusset decreases and then take this to school tomorrow. That's what I should do. We'll see. We'll see about that. So those are all of my sock projects that I currently have going. I'm trying really, really hard not to cast on a new sock project. Also, I think I'm going to, before I cast on that other project, I think I'm just going to pick up my sister's sock, the Fiber Nymph Dye Works, because I've moved my room around. Ta-da! I've moved it around and I've cleaned all of the places where a ball of yarn could have fallen, and I haven't found it. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that it could magically appear somewhere else. Maybe I should take a second to double check that it didn't go to work, because there is a space where I could have possibly put it if I took it to work. So maybe I'll try to remember to do that this week. But I might just pick up that sock and knit it with the outside of the ball or the inside, whichever, the opposite of what I'm using of the cake, and knit the heel out of that and keep going, and just not have that one have the contrasting mini. And if I find a contrasting mini later, I can just put it into a blanket. I'm really, really thinking about it. It's probably going to happen. So what do we want to talk about next? I guess spinning. I've done some spinning this week. I did not spin at all this weekend yet. So I didn't spin Friday. I didn't spin yesterday. I haven't spun yet today, but I think I will. It just, the weekend was too busy. I didn't get around to it. It's fine. But here it is. So this fiber is lovely. And I can't even tell you how long ago I started this spin. A long time ago. Years ago. And I still have all of this left to spin. I am not planning on spinning it all during Tour de Fleece. Excuse me. I really just want to do 15 minutes a day. I have it in this cute little wristy bag that I'm pretty sure, it doesn't have a tag. I'm pretty sure my friend made this for me. I'm pretty sure it was a gift. But the yarn is from Deviant Stitches. The colorway is Our Endless Numbered Days. And the blend is 60% superwash merino, 30% bamboo, 10% nylon, about 4 ounces. So it's a really, really nice spin. It's soft, it's shiny, it's pretty. I am going to do a little, not like a real Tour de Fleece video, but at the Tour de Fleece, after the end of Tour de Fleece, I think I am going to like just do a really quick video, like a 2-minute video or something. That's just all of the shots of my spinning every day, because I post them on my Insta stories when I do them. I also post my 100 days projects on my Insta stories, where I'm BunniPhish over there if you want to follow along over there. I'm also going to put up a video for the 100 days, like a vlog at the end. So if you just want to not look at Instagram, you have that option also. Those are all the socks that I'm working on. That's my spinning. So last thing I'm going to talk about is the sweater. I barely worked on... Oh, no, not last thing. I forgot. I have an update about this. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the cowl though. I did some work on it, but not a ton. I am super excited about the progress on my littlest sweater. So, okay, so here we are. And can you see what's going on? It's a bind off. So I think it's an Italian sewn bind off, but I'm not really positive. It's the bind off that's basically like mimicking the stitches of a Kitchener, but instead of having the stitches separated on 2 needles, it's on 1 needle. So like, if you know how to Kitchener, this will probably make sense. And if you don't, this won't, but I promise the explanation is really short. So like, you know how after you get off the setup of the Kitchener, it's front needle, knit, purl, back needle, purl, knit. Well, this is the same thing, except it's first stitch, knit, and then slip off, third stitch, purl in front, and then go back to the second stitch, purl, slip off, and then in the 4th stitch you take your yarn behind and you like as if to knit. So it's basically doing the Kitchener but without separating onto needles, and you on separate needles, and you do it with a needle. I think it's the Italian sewn bind off, but I haven't actually looked up that technique in a really long time, so it could be something else and I could be making that up. I would say that I'm probably a third of the way done with binding off. And working on this was kind of fun this week because my oldest kiddo and I, we went on a little date, and we never do that. My littlest and I, we go places all the time. We do Starbucks runs because we were at the same school together. She and I have gone to see lots of movies without my older kiddo because my younger kiddo is way into certain types of movies, and my older kiddo is like, no, thank you. And my older kiddo isn't really into that many specific types of movies, but my oldest kiddo does like the Jurassic Park franchise, and my youngest kiddo does not. So my oldest kiddo and I went to see Jurassic World Rebirth, and it was exciting. I made a lot of progress. I took the sweater. I didn't really measure it beforehand. I was just like, this is just going to be, it's stockinette in the round. We're going around and around because I was on the body. And when I got home, I was like, okay, I should probably, first I measured how much I had done, and I had done more than 3 inches, I think. I took a picture. But I was to the part where I needed to start the ribbing. So I was like, ooh, perfect. Let's start the ribbing. And then I did the ribbing probably on Thursday. I don't think I worked on it at all on Wednesday. And then I've done this much of the bind off this weekend. I really haven't picked it up that much. I didn't take it to the beach, so that slowed it down. And then I was hanging out with my boyfriend, and I did not take it to his house. So I will try to get this bound off and start the sleeves soon. I'm trying to decide how I want to do the sleeves because I talked to my littlest and I asked her what type of sleeve she wanted, like if she wanted a tapered sleeve or if she wanted a balloon sleeve, and she has decided that she wants a balloon sleeve. Cool. But do I want to work them one at a time and just keep track of how many rounds I do, or do I want to work them in tandem? I haven't decided. I did buy a third skein of the yarn because this is what I have left of the second, and that should definitely get me through one sleeve, but I don't think it'll get me through two sleeves. So I bought another skein. So this will be, you know, a $12 sweater, which, cool. I think I'm going to go back and along the back of the neck, like from here to here, in between the raglan increase sections, I think I am going to single crochet just to stabilize that so it doesn't get like so stretched out, so it tightens that up just a little bit. I think that'll work nicely. So yeah, I am excited about that, although I did see, I don't know if it happened during the movie or what. Where did it go? I did see that I dropped a stitch. Probably while we were at the movies. Let's see. So I just need to catch that and sew it in and it'll be fine. But, you know, the hazards of working in the dark. It's weird though because I guess it's not weird. When I was doing the knit one, purl one edging, I had an odd number of stitches and I was like, maybe I just missed one somewhere. No, I had a drop stitch. All right, so this is exciting. Here is my aunt's wrap, and it's not going to look much bigger. I didn't do a ton of work on it, so I only put on 4 ridges since you last saw it. So that's not the exciting part. But the exciting part is that I used up the first ball of the mohair yarn, which is Muyan. I don't know. So she got it for me. I'm using it up. I have this and then 5 more balls, I believe is correct. But now I know that, hold on, I'm going to count. Okay, so now I know that it's about 22 ridges per ball of mohair. So I can kind of figure out how long this is going to be. And I think I'm going to move this progress keeper right here up so that I can like count when I'm feeling discouraged and feeling like I'm not making any progress in the ball of yarn. I could be like, no, look, I only have so many more ridges to go, and then this ball of yarn is finished. The other strand of this is Knit Pick Stroll in white, and this is how much I have left of this white from the beginning. So I'm still on the first 50 grams for the white. So that's cool. That means I'll definitely have white yarn for my daughter's blanket. But I was excited. I was excited when I realized I had used up that first ball of yarn. I still want to finish this by the end of the year, which means I need to be doing about a ball of yarn a month. So that's, I mean, my goal is still to do a ridge a day. I haven't been doing it, but if I do a ridge a day, that means that this shawl could be finished by the end of the year. One final crochet project that I want to talk about, and that is my reading blanket, and is big. I will insert a picture. I've only done the border on that many squares, but I made it across the next row, and this is the very last book that I finished. I am all caught up on my reading blanket. I'm so excited and so proud of myself because this was a major undertaking to get caught up, and now I am. Will I stay caught up? Probably not, if I'm being honest. I'm going to fall behind again at some point because it's just going to happen, especially when I'm in school. I don't know, but I'm all caught up right now and I'm just so excited, and I'm going to try to stay on top of it. I'm going to try. So let's talk about this square because it is a book that I finished this week. I finished The School for Good and Evil, which is the first book in the series, and I grabbed the second book from the series. My littlest and I stopped by the library after the beach yesterday. So I finished it. I liked it. I didn't love it. It wasn't like the most amazing book, but it was a really fun take on like good characters and evil characters and what makes someone good or evil, that sort of thing. So yeah, I liked it. I liked it enough to get the second one. My daughter says she's not interested in reading the second book in the series right now, which is fine. It was cool to be able to have a discussion with her about a book and like talk about who her favorite character was, and she was not my favorite character, so then I talked about who my favorite character was and why, and it was a cool experience. So I didn't start reading the second book of that. What I am reading is The Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope, and it is about a girl who she's born with a caul and she can see ghosts, and she's early 20s, and there's some shenanigans going on with the spirit world and people in, is it Chicago? Is that where we are? No, DC. I must have read something else where it was Chicago. So they're in DC in the 1920s. I'm liking it. I am not reading it very quickly. I started it almost a week ago and I'm only on page 106. Not the fault of the book. I just think that I wasn't in reading headspace because I was getting back into school headspace. I'm also reading, I've started just barely, it's called Grown Women Talk. I'll talk more about it later because I've just barely started it. Like, I've read the introduction and maybe like 10 pages. So I don't know. I don't have opinions on that one yet. But I was doing so good. We were at the library. My daughter was looking for books. I didn't grab anything. And then we went up to my favorite area because she was like, I'm going to need help finding more books. And then I grabbed a book for myself. But while she was looking, I was being so good. I was just like casually strolling through the library and I wasn't going to get anything. And then they just rearranged our library and I was in the audiobook section and I was like, oh, maybe I want an audiobook for my car. And I didn't see anything. And then I saw the new audiobooks. And Harriet Tubman live in concert, written by Bob the Drag Queen. And it is read by Bob the Drag Queen. Highly enjoyable. I'm not very far. There's 4 CDs total, so it's not very long. How long is this? Running time is 4.5 hours. So it's not super long. It was on my summer TBR anyway. I did have the book waiting in my queue to come into play as a book to read this summer. So I saw it and I was like, ooh, I want that anyway. I'm planning on reading it anyway. Let's get a car book, because I don't spend a ton of time in my car at once. My drives are like around 20 minutes or less, but that adds up to a lot of story time. Like 4 hours in 20-minute chunks is only 12 car rides. Is that right? Because 4 times 3 would be, yeah, that's only 12 car trips. So yeah, that's, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to be listening to a book. I'm excited for this one. I will say there are a few moments where my audio processing brain has been like, wait, what did he say? Because the enunciation is not the same as if a professional narrator was reading it. However, the life given to the characters is phenomenal. So it's worth it for the few times where my brain is like, wait, what did they say? And then through context clues, my brain is like, oh yes, that's that word. It's only happened like 2 or 3 times. And again, I have an audio processing disorder. So that happens when normal people talk anyway. But just something in case you also have an audio processing disorder. But it's really, really enjoyable, and I really like it so far. Again, I'm not very far into it. The premise is that Harriet Tubman and others come back. I don't remember exactly what it's... Yeah, they've magically and unexplainably returned. I don't know if it explains later. I'm only on the first disc. So, first disc, track 5 of 18, in case you're wondering. So I'm not that far. So I don't exactly know what's going to happen. I don't know if they explain why these people from history came back. They mentioned Cleopatra came back also. So that's interesting. I would like to kind of know why they're back, but also I'm interested to hear the story of Harriet Tubman, because Harriet Tubman contacts a man, Darnell, and wants him to help her make a musical, kind of, is my understanding. So I'm excited for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be enjoyable. What else? Summer school. Let's talk about it for just a second, not for too long. So, summer school has been a mess. It's been a mess. I'm teaching first grade. At the end of the school year, I had been told I was teaching second grade, but then there weren't enough other classes, blah, blah, blah. Things got switched around. So then there were 2 bands of first grade. Okay, cool. Well, on Monday, I only have 1 student show up for the first 15 minutes. And I'm like, this is dumb. I'm not going to keep 1 student by themselves for the whole day. So I was like, okay, let's go to the other first grade class. It ended up where there were 3 of my students and 5 of the other teacher's students showed up. So we were like, let's just combine again tomorrow and we will do some testing, because we also weren't given any of the kids like placement scores for math or ELA, and the other teacher who was doing first grade is a 5th grade teacher, and I'm a technology teacher, so like we don't have this information on these kids. So we did some like placement testing and stuff, and okay, cool. And then we from there split up the kids, and I was going to take this half in my room, she was going to take that half in her room, and we were going to do it based on strengths and weaknesses. Cool. So we do that on Wednesday, and we have art classes in summer school this year, which is really cool. So we're in art class, and the coordinator comes to the art class, and she's like, hey, if it's cool with you, we're going to just combine all of the first graders together. And I get the first graders, and the other teacher, is going to go split third grade with the person who's doing third grade, because all of the third graders who signed up are coming in. Cool. There was supposed to be 17 fifth graders. Not fifth graders, first graders. And we have consistently only had 8. So, okay, I'm taking these 8 first graders, but now this is another change on them. And she was like, do you want to start that tomorrow, or do you want to start it on Monday? And I'm like, on Monday. Can we start it on Monday? Can we give them, can we not change up their entire every day? And also, can we have time to, recalibrate how we're going to do this? So it was fine. It just felt very, very disorganized and not how I like to run my classes. But again, it's fine. It's being flexible. So tomorrow is going to feel a little bit like the first day again. But summer school is only 4 weeks, so it'll be fine. So yeah, that's just felt really stressful, and yeah, it hasn't been my most favorite experience in summer school. And also I feel like this could just be me, but I feel like the other teachers, most of the other teachers, are teaching in or are from a specific grade band, even if they're teaching across all of the grade bands. And so I feel like it's very, very cliquey at summer school with the teachers. And I am not part of the clique, and that just, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Anyway, let's end on a high note. Look, I organized just this. I changed my furniture around a little teeny bit. All of my furniture is now where I want it to be. I just need to organize it. But this is organized. I went through this whole 3 cube, and this shelf and the top are for my crafting projects. So that's exciting. I have a place for them to land when I'm not working on them. I need to go through my crafting shelf. It's a hot mess. But it's fine. It's fine. All of the furniture is where it needs to be, so yay. That feels really good. I don't think I have any goals for this week other than work on everything that I showed you today. Except maybe the reading blanket. If I don't work on the border of the reading blanket, it'll be fine. So yeah. That's where I'm at. I hope that your week has been less chaotic than mine. I hope you've been doing okay, and I will see you in about a week. Bye for now.